Yeah.
All right, it is Monday, July 21st, 2025, 6 p.m. We're going to start off with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we have the roll call.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Collister, Colvin,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
All right, item 4 is approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Lyons, seconded by Coleman. Any discussion? Then go ahead and take the roll.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colvin,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
All right, next is public participation. Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to get up and speak to the council? Anybody on Zoom wish to address the council? If not, we'll move on. We have no presentations for tonight. Next is number 7, which item A is a public hearing regarding the matter of the former Clinton engine site and opportunity analysis. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Welcome tonight. We'll begin here in just a few minutes. I made a small introduction to this last time and was hoping possibly we could have a couple presenters on this, and I don't see them logging in yet, but there's some partners involved with this that are online that could probably introduce what they do and have offered services for the city. That's been really helpful for us. So some time ago, and time flies, probably about 18 months ago, the city was making preparations with the Jackson County Historical Society and Museum to partnership in a pretty broad scale EPA grant to do a number of different cleanup items. And part of this process is recruiting in help to do a market reuse plan, a land reuse plan. And it looks like one of the contractors is up. And so as we move through this process, Kansas State University and Kristen Przowski, hope I pronounced that correctly, became involved. That's a Kansas State University EPA affiliated program. They hire a sub to do this market analysis for us, which is where Brooks Cowell's Ninth Path Advisors comes in. So a lot of man hours have gone into this project, a lot of research, which didn't turn into a 100-page document, but something that's 10 to 15 pages and fairly comprehensive, in my opinion, given what occurred. So, Kristen, maybe we start off by just briefly introducing some of the services Kansas State University does for this program. We'll turn it over to Brooks on some of his findings, and anyone in the audience is welcome to speak, and I'll talk a little bit about some of our focus group sessions as we attempt to close this public hearing. So Kristen or Brooks, if you can unmute yourselves, and I don't particularly care who goes first, but if you want to walk through kind of the synopsis of your services and what some of the main findings are of this report for council.
Sure. So again, my name is Kristen Przowski. I'm happy to be here tonight to talk about the Technical Assistance to Brownfield program. As Josh indicated, we do provide the technical assistance free of charge to communities because we're funded through an EPA grant. And really the main point of our program is helping communities overcome challenges for brownfield redevelopment. So some of the things that we assist communities with include community engagement, brownfield inventory, resource roadmaps, which is looking at what types of grants and financing might be out there, as well as things like a market analysis or opportunity analysis to look at, what is really realistic in the local marketplace for a site. And that's where our role has primarily been with this project. So as Josh indicated in the staff memo, through coordination with Iowa DNR, which the city has been doing for some time, it was found that there really needed to look at what was the future land use going to look like. And again, as noted in the memo, the city continues coordination toward a no further action letter. That's an important piece in redevelopment. And so this is one step in that process. And so now at this point, I'll turn things over to Brooks to talk about the opportunity analysis.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm on vacation and I'm not in the country, so I am sorry if my internet cuts out. It's kind of been going in and out. If anything happens, I'll try to turn my video off, but if I start getting like robot voice or anything, someone please just stop me so I don't keep talking. But yeah, thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Josh. My name is Brooks Coles. My company is called Ninth Path Advisors. It's a full service real estate firm based in Colorado. I'm a developer and a consultant, but I spend a lot of my time contracting with KSU Tab and helping communities find reuse options for their brownfields. And that is what we did with Maquoketa. I'm going to try to keep this super high level, so excuse me for talking fast. And at the end of this, I am happy to go back and answer any other questions you may have. But one thing I want to touch on here is a lot of times when I get called in to do these opportunity analysis or market study, whatever we want to call it, the primary goal there is to find feasible reuse options. So most of the time when communities are looking at brownfields, they want to have some sort of state or federal resources, EPA grant, whatever it is. The strongest way to do that, or I guess one of the most important boxes to check, is to say there are feasible reuses for this site. That is a really, really strong way to get money to help you with your site. So that's what I'm looking at is at the core feasible reuse. Does this make sense? You know, not just that someone in the community wants it, but is it doable? Is it possible? Is this a real viable, good place for the government to send money? If that is what you need. So that's what we looked at here. Again, as Josh mentioned, you know, we try to not make these too complex. And especially in a small town, the best data source I can get is local input. So Josh and the team in Maquoketa put together a very, very comprehensive and full day of interviews for us. We did a site visit, and you might have talked about this before I got on, but really appreciative of the way that Josh set that up. It was smooth, it was informative, and there's clearly a lot of people in this community who care. So now just going to brush over kind of, you know, the first thing I want to understand is a overall picture of the community. And Maquoketa, the context for me is beautiful, welcoming, small town, seat of Jackson County, easy access to your two highways, and some larger urban areas kind of equidistant away in either direction. You're primarily an agricultural and bedroom community, and you're kind of at a moment here where you can redefine your economic positioning in the region. Main things we want to look at from a just super high level are population and economy. So from a population perspective, you have a mix of longtime residents, retirees, and younger families. All of those people are attracted to Maquoketa for small town character, affordability, and proximity to other larger centers. The population in Maquoketa proper is about 6,100, but your market area, what would, you know, you would actually pull dollars from is kind of that larger regional area, and that's about 11,000 people. Those are people who come into town to spend money, commercial services, things that they don't want to go to Davenport or other towns for. That population has gone down since 2010, but it's stabilizing, and nationwide, kind of most populations are going down just a little bit. Anyways, it's just what's happening right now. But what is notable is Maquoketa has an average age of 42. Jackson County has an average age of 48. That's significantly older than surrounding areas, and slightly from an outsider's perspective, and that's all of this is an outsider's perspective, can be concerning for the future sustainability of your workforce and the sustainability of your economy. So from an economic perspective, you guys are what I would call a rural regional regional center. So again, it's where these 11,000 people from and the people who live there come for education, healthcare, government services. There is a slight manufacturing presence, but it's really a bedroom community. And most opportunities, employment opportunities, are going to exist outside of Maquoketa. With that said, unemployment is very, very low. It's higher than the states, which is extremely low, but it's at 4%, healthy unemployment rate. But your average household income is also extremely low. I think it's about $76,000, which is, Dubuque is 104, and the state is higher than that as well. So what I came to understand through interviews is that there's a perception of Maquoketa being a people and workforce desert that is attributed to a near total lack of housing options for younger families and workforce. There's an extremely low vacancy rate residentially, but when a company is looking to relocate or move or open, they want to be near workers. And what I've come to understand from interviews is that when people consider Maquoketa, they don't see many good housing options for those new employees to go. So that seemed to be my biggest takeaway as economic speed bumps is housing for the younger families, the younger professionals, the young workforce. How do you get the kids who leave for college to come back? They need to have a place to live and they need to have job opportunities. With that said, what you have going for you that a lot of places in the country don't is you have a established historical downtown, a very low cost of living, and growing tourism. I think you have the most highly visited state park in the entire state, and the river and other options that actually bring people in. The site itself, as we considered uses, it's about just under 11 acres over 3 parcels. The Jackson County Historical Society is on 4 acres, and there's about 6 acres of developable land, like not built on yet, developable land, but you technically could redevelop the whole thing if the right use came along. I'd consider it a mixed use area. It's zoned industrial right now, but there's residential across the street. You're not far from Platt. There's a YMCA to the back. It's a pretty mixed use area, and we were told that for the right use, for the right interest, everything could be rezoned and it could be figured out. So with that, I will jump to the land use analysis. So again, this is the big buckets of land uses that we look at: residential, commercial, and in this case, a few more unique options, but want to look at the context of those uses overall, and then what we thought might work based on what we learned. So from a residential perspective, just going to touch briefly on the residential market overall. 2,900 household units currently, pretty normal mix of ownership to rental. But your effective vacancy rate is 3.5%. That reflects a highly constrained housing market. So your natural vacancy is between 5 and 7%. That's kind of what you need to have healthy turnover in a market. When it's down at 3.5%, that means there's not many places for people to go. There's not places for people to age out of their homes. There's not places for people to move down, move up, not much movement within your residential market. For the inventory itself, 74% of the housing stock is single family detached houses. That's pretty normal, but it is higher than average, especially in a place that is dealing with what I would perceive to be a problem of no houses available. It might be nice to have more multifamily or attached product just to have more optionality. That housing stock is also very, very, very rapidly aging. 82% of homes were built before 1989. 30% of them were built before 1939. and I think fewer than 1% have been built since 2010. So that tells me people are not building houses. That was reinforced to me that the development community, you know, what you can build a house for is actually more than what people would buy it for right now, which is a problem that's kind of facing the nation. Um, so what we came up with for a feasible reuse from the residential perspective is medium density incentivized workforce or senior housing. So that is a pretty broad and also specific recommendation. But I really think this is a balanced mix of rental and for sale housing. You could fit it on this site on the 6 acres or the entire 10 acres and have a kind of a, we call it 8 units per acre, kind of medium density for, it could either be geared towards younger families, younger professionals, or towards seniors, which would allow people to move out of the homes they're in now, kind of age out of those, have a place to go, and free up more housing stock. The price point here, with where your average household income is and the employment available, workforce is defined as 80 to 120% of area median income. So that's a sliding scale, and this basically is saying price these to people who are employed in Maquoketa. I will say that we think this is a feasible reuse. I definitely heard pushback from multiple people that this isn't really the area where residential should go, and that there's a lot more land that's a lot better suited to go there. I'm not claiming to know really much about the residential market. I'm claiming that this is a feasible use. I think that just the data points tell me Maquoketa could really use some medium density housing. And I say it's incentivized because I don't think the private development community is going to do it on their own, or they already would have. So there are, most of the times, depending on the administration, funding out there to help with this. And part of our action plan is going to be talking about some of those resources that could help you get there. Again, at the end of the day, there might be a lot better property, but from my perspective, there's a residential problem that is not solving itself, and this land is city owned. So that gives you a lot of levers to pull.
Brooks,
Yes.
I just want to jump in. So thanks for clarifying that really the residential was looked at because this was a broad look at what types of uses the market would support broadly. And so, but then during discussions, there definitely was a lot about the need for residential, and I think agreement across the board that the need is there, but also the fact that there were a couple of reasons why that isn't one of the things that's being specifically pursued at the site. One of them is the coordination with Iowa DNR and the environmental considerations, but then the other pieces are those other available properties that are likely a better fit. And Josh, I think you had mentioned, some recent discussion around housing construction. And just given those factors, that's not the primary suggested reuse as far as in the for a reuse action plan. So just wanted to mention that part of it. Thanks,
Thank you,
Brooks.
Kristen. Yeah, of course. I'm glad you said that, because this is, outsider's perspective looking at uses, and I know there's a lot of community dynamic going on as well. From a commercial perspective, we really ruled out kind of from the beginning retail or food and beverage. This just is not the place for that. You guys have a bustling downtown core, and things that draw people in should go over there. So this is really looking at commercial corridor, slightly industrial, what could go here. And we just looked at some opportunities that you could kind of tackle as a community, or things to leverage. So, strengthening your role as a city hub, as a regional hub. You've got 11,000 potential customers around, and limited local business. how can you get them here, and is this a good spot to do that? Taking advantage over and over again of your proximity to Highway 61 and I-80. That's a really valuable thing, and you might not be the closest, but you're closer than others, and it's something to leverage. And lastly, attract commercial, industrial, and service sector businesses that exist in the larger urban centers, Dubuque and Davenport, because you do kind of fit in a gap in between those, where you might be able to provide a service that stops people from going to those urban centers. So from that perspective, we titled this use mixed use business park, kind of a broad term, but can be successful in many ways. So it could be self-storage, business warehouse, light industrial, flex warehouse, or commercial space. What's nice about these is the low cost of construction. It would fit pretty seamlessly into where you are, and it could really be phased over time. So this could be kind of build to suit or spec build, based on demand. It doesn't have to all be built at once. Also in the commercial category, agricultural supply and retail. This came from local interviews and also kind of a quick takeoff that there is a need that could be filled within this site and within the regional area that you serve. So farm and ranch supply, agronomy, equipment dealer, landscape supply yard, feed mill, all sorts of product that serve, your historical economy as an agricultural area. And this would fit with some creative planning. It would fit on the site and certainly align with the area. And lastly, a bit more subjectively would be, and this is where I was saying it doesn't really fit into one of these categories. I guess I would call this a public or civic use, is an expansion of Jackson County Historical Society. Quick note that I really enjoyed being there. It was fascinating to me from an outside perspective, and what they've already been able to establish is pretty amazing. And so an expansion from them on this site could be seamless potentially. And they have proven to be able to pull off fundraising, and the fact that it exists today is a testament to the fact that they could probably expand onto this other site with maybe less complication than a redevelopment. And we talked about some of their hopes for expansion, whether it was interpretive nature or landscape park, just expanding those the educational facilities, doing Civil War reenactments out on the grounds. It sounds like they could certainly use the space, and have been able to pull it off before. So I will stop there. That was kind of a speed dating version of the market study. And if anybody has any questions, I'm here to answer them. We both are.
Well, Mayor, a bit of this analysis for this property too. Atlas Consultants was the environmental contractor. We have about a $75,000 contract with to guide us through to this no further action certificate, and we're about 2/3 paid through that contract. But I write in here that there's some extremely favorable results of recently, but we've been pecking along exactly what the DNR has asked us to do, and most significantly, these soil borings 10 feet into the ground to measure soil gas and other contaminants have shown very favorable results. I mean, so much so that it seems too good to be true, and DNR, are we really on the path to finally getting this no further action certificate in 2 years? Well, yeah. You just have to do your well monitoring like we've been doing, and we'll be right there. Had a couple conversations since. The museum also has Atlas under contract as well to bridge some of these efforts, and is coordinating with the city on what might be occurring there to get us to the no further action certificate as well. So I think overall, Brooks's analysis is positioning us towards something that is actually practical and is not, unrealistic. And so I think that, one, I wanted to make sure that everyone here had an opportunity to talk, and Bonnie, anyone else, please feel free. But no matter what the city chooses to do, whether it's next year, 3 months from now, 5 years from now, I think everyone is going to be totally considerate of what that property was supposed to be. The city has got 25 years of environmental research and money that has gone into this property to turn it back to public and private use. It's not going to be the city's forever. That's not what we signed up for in year 2000. So I hope that we find you some sort of resolution soon, and can put the city back into a position where we can close this chapter and move on to perhaps another challenge. So, Mayor, I don't know where you want to take this meeting, and I covered some of Atlas's ground, so I didn't mean to step on James's toes, but we have quite a few visitors here from the museum, and y'all are welcome to speak, or Bonnie, Jack, if you'd like to comment at all on your experience with Brooks. I know that he was shocked with Casey's gas station pizza during his visit, so that was, he experienced some of our Iowa love language here while he was present, and I was happy to do that for him. But
Anybody from the Historical Society want to get up and comment on this?
I guess I will. I guess the Historical Society has really been making headway into our problem. All of our tests at the Clinton Engines Museum are all, they're safe. I mean, there's not all of the problems that people thought when we had to hang up the sign that says, if you're pregnant, don't come in, and all of that. So we've worked hard to get where we're at. And I don't know, we're really concerned about our land and about the prairie area. We've worked on that. We had Kevin Etkin come and look at the site. He gave a report, and Bonnie was going to get a copy of that report to each of you so you could see what his comments were and what he felt could happen in the future to keep that a prairie. We would like to have it stay a prairie. I don't know, I think the support for tonight, we've had people helping us look at the problem. David Gossman was there. Dan Davison, who's been working with us to discuss what our options might be. And I know that Bonnie has said that the prairie, there's some discussion about what might happen in the not too distant future. And we still have a lease on that property for another 2 years, so nothing could really happen there, at least for 2 years. But I don't know if any of you have any questions for us.
Jack, is there any consideration of combining the museum that's at the fairgrounds, like moving that collection into a new building at this site? I mean, is that when they're talking about possible expansion, is that one of the things you're considering at all?
No, we have not.
Okay.
I mean, there is absolutely no way that we could fit everything that's at the main museum in a building at our site. There is going to be an expansion at the Clinton Engine site for the Clinton Engines. So I don't know how that could work.
Okay.
What's going to expand, the Clinton Engines building or the machine shed?
The
you have
machine
at
shed is
the
going
south
to be
side?
expanded.
Okay.
Yes.
To the east?
Yes, to the east.
Okay. All right.
And we have to do some additional work because of the contamination. There has to be some underground work done, but yes, that's going to be coming in the not too distant future.
So Jackie, what you're saying is basically, so for the Historical Society, you would like to keep it a prairie moving forward from now, like just leave it that way?
Absolutely.
Is there any other, say if you had a second choice besides that, like say the house development or maybe agricultural development, maybe like some corn cribs stored there or something like that. If we didn't leave it a prairie, is there another option that you guys would be in favor of, or is it just we want the prairie and that's
Well,
it?
I know one of the things they want to do is put a walkway so people can walk through the prairie and then get up to the YMCA or get to the Prairie Creek campground and all of that. We're open to suggestions.
'Cause I'm
And
a
I
bit-
think that, you know,
I'm
but
up
we,
here-
we
sorry.
just want to, we're concerned about our future.
I'm kind of thinking like, and I'm just, like I said, just heard this tonight, but I'm thinking maybe turn it into some kind of park or something like that, maybe. But I mean, it's just an idea I'm throwing out there, and I think anybody in the city should probably maybe start throwing some ideas out because we got 2 years to think about this, you know, or at least a year solid to think about it. I'm not against housing development because, I mean, if a town's gonna grow, you gotta have places for them to live. I don't know, I'm just kind of throwing out ideas too, but I'd like to have you guys throw out some ideas too, other than the prairie. I'm not against just having the prairie and having a walkway up there, but I think collective thinking, I think we could all come to something where everybody would enjoy.
Well, I think the Historical Society is very open to discussion with the city council and with the city manager. He's been working with us and we have enjoyed that, but we haven't enjoyed all of the things that go with it.
I'm happy to hear that in 2 years we can have a clean title on that thing. I mean, that's been a plague for the last 10 years since I've been up here. What are we gonna do with that site? And like, if the end is near, now's the time to start thinking about how we can build there or do something positive for the community there. I mean, it only makes sense, whether it's housing or a park or a prairie. I mean, I think we should really look into it.
We're open to that.
Okay.
Bonnie, anything you want to say?
May I just hand these out? so
Sure,
that they can look
sure.
later?
Thank you.
We thought you might be interested in some material that we put together on what we've done and what we're looking at and that sort of stuff. Anybody else?
Maybe Phil has something to say about the prairie, I don't know.
I don't think so. Yeah, the only thing that, we have to be concerned with, for a year and a half is the agreement with Habitat that provided the seed. And that 5-year agreement would be up in November of 26. So, and then from there, why, anything else is wide open, I guess, let's say.
Sarah?
In final, we haven't really had formal discussions. We sort of had private brainstorming of things that could happen in the prairie, in that prairie land. And the walkways that we talked about could be, we would have interpretive, would be an interpretive experience. Where there's signage and other explanatory material, so that when people walk through the prairie, they understand what they're seeing, what their experience. So it would be more than just a path to Prairie Creek, for example. And there was a time when I personally thought that if the infamous art piece from the green space could have a home in the prairie, I thought, you know, having that aged wood amongst the prairie grass would be a fitting spot for it. So people would, you would still have a place and have a place. While we don't have plans, we have had some brainstorming privately on this topic, so.
I mean, to go on top of like your prairie idea, I think it's a great idea. And like I said, the piece were there, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking, you know, if you can take that nice walk down to the prairie and it's nice and relaxing, and you know, you're getting exercise anyhow, why don't we put one of those outdoor exercise that they have like next to all the hospitals down in Davenport, like a spot where, you know, if you guys are going for a walk, you can maybe do a couple push-ups, a couple sit-ups, maybe hang from a bar and stretch your back, you know? So-
That equipment is fantastic.
You know, I mean, it's
Fantastic
something
idea.
that, you know, no offense to anybody, but, you know, if it's a Prairie, it's gonna be appeal to the older crowd of Maquoketa. It might appeal to the younger crowds too, but I mean, everybody needs to stay in shape. You know, it's just kind of the way it goes. Healthier you are, the happier you are. But like I said, just brainstorming, just throwing out ideas right now.
That would echo what used to be at Centennial Park.
Yep. But in the same sense too, like with this market study, I mean, with the average age being, you know, up in the 40s, and that is kind of high, the city does need to recruit some housing too. I'm not saying we're gonna put housing there or nothing like that. There's a lot of other places we could put housing in town too. But I'd like to have that idea open too, because, I mean, if a city's gonna grow, you gotta build houses too, or, you know, or retirement communities or something like that, putting that there too. That way the city does retain some TIF on it, so on and so forth. But like I said, we're just throwing out ideas, so. I do like the
Well,
Prairie
I
idea.
think it's important to converse with each other, and if there are ideas that you have for us to utilize the Prairie for, please talk to
Yeah,
us.
definitely, absolutely.
And let us know what your thoughts are, and maybe we can streamline it to make it work.
Absolutely.
And we obviously are, I mean, we deal with the past a lot
yeah.
in our museums, but we're looking to the future as well.
Is there an organization that is helping with the maintenance of this Prairie? I'm just briefly looking at this handout that we just received. And I see that there's some issues that you guys want to take care of.
Yes,
out
we're
there.
going to be taking care of those issues. We've already discussed it, and we're going to find the right people to do the things that need to be done.
Have you reached out to the Hurstville Interpretive Center
Yes, we have.
about doing
Yes.
so?
Well, as Brooks mentioned, one of the very real options is conveying it to the museum for their use and programming. How many people came to the muster?
A lot.
Those are people staying in,
And we're expecting a lot more this year.
those are people staying in hotels, they're eating, they're visiting, they're leaving with positive impressions, and then that's always good news for our city council and great in my book. So it shouldn't come as a surprise to you that this is one of the city options for it to be conveyed and to be put to some sort of programmatic use like what we've talked about here.
Might be a good topic for goal setting.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second to close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
If there's no discussion, take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colvin,
Yes.
Ayler,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickroll.
Yes.
All right, we move into our consent agenda, where item A is the minutes from our July 7th, 2025 regular council meeting, the minutes from our July 17th, 2025 special council meeting, our bills payable through July 21st, 2025 in the amount of $647,216.57. Renewal of a Class C retail alcohol license filed by Carson and Sons Funeral Home, and a renewal of a Class C retail alcohol license filed by Timberlanes Bowling Company Incorporated. Okay, we had a motion. We have a second?
Who motioned, Mayor?
Oltmann. I
Motion,
second.
and Bennett seconded it. We have no discussion, take the roll.
Colvin,
Yes.
Ayler.
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickroll.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Item 9 is old business. We have no old business, which takes us to 10, new business. Item A is a resolution approving the matter of the former Clinton Engine site opportunity analysis. Josh?
I don't have a ton to add to this. And we've emphasized to the museum that what was in front of you and presented to you is non-binding plan. And that's keywords there. So it's flexible, but it's a written plan, and plans can change. And the DNR and EPA recognize that, but this would be great for us to have on the books to fall back on and give us some sort of guide here in the next couple of years.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion?
Wait, who did the first?
I think Lyon made the,
No.
Simon.
Simon, okay.
Simonson made it, and
Aylinger.
Aylinger seconded it. You caught up?
Yep.
Okay, take the roll.
Alec.
Yes.
Benton.
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Colvin.
Yes.
Okay, that does pass. And item B is a resolution setting a public hearing for August 4th, 2025 at 6 PM on the proposed sale of the airport property to Allen Oltmann. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, and really excited to present this to you, but we need to set up a public hearing for August 4th to discuss a potential sale of real estate property. This is a very oddly shaped triangle on the west side of 134th that's, I guess, finally in its best position to sell to the abutting owner and continue to be agriculture. So this is for a public hearing setting only. This information's been crossed with the FAA for concurrence. There's a number of financial reasons. I think this is a very smart move for the council, so the airport fund is less reliant on the general fund. But looking forward to discussing this a little bit further on August 4th.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Okay, we got a motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. And if we have no discussion, take the roll.
Benton.
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Colvin.
Yes.
Haliger.
Yes.
Okay, that one passes. Item C is a resolution setting a public hearing date of August 4th at 6 PM regarding a conditional rezoning request to Agriculture District 1A1 by Big Country Property LLC of Jackson County. The parcel is 145-1830-4000-2000. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. What I'll add to this is that the public hearing will be August 4th. That's kind of uniformly consistent at this point. So please make yourselves available for that, and we'll have our discussion then regarding this potential action.
Okay.
Has there been any movement on coming to an agreement? We talked about having a written agreement signed by the property owner.
Yeah, to best answer that question, the basic, I think, guidance at that Planning and Zoning Commission meeting was there was an implicit understanding that it was cows and pasture grasses that this is going to be used for, which I believe is the true intent. The motion of the Planning and Zoning Board was to recommend it, but to the conditions prescribed by council. And so I had met with the neighborhood group, which, you know, we came up with what they believe are a number of acceptable provisions. That agreement's not been signed. And now we're in a position of it's either going to be residential property or it's going to be agriculture. And I think that the applicant is still digesting some of that information and that possibility, and we're speaking with him about, okay, but what's the backup plan if this doesn't pass, which is, you know, in my opinion, possibly realistic. So it seems to me like this intel changes every couple days, and we're ready at this point to have this public hearing based on what we have. And I don't want to get too far in the weeds and talk on behalf of anyone, but to me, it seems like this August 4th meeting is going to be the one to discuss some of this.
Okay, Doug made it sound like at the public hearing, we would be discussing the agreement that had been hammered out between the two parties and signed off on by the landowner. And if there's no agreement, whatever, okay, we'll just move ahead.
Hey, Mark, I was going to tell you and the rest of the council, I've done I know I haven't been to the last couple meetings and whatnot, but I've done some extensive research on this subject. I've got some information to share at this. I'm actually going to bring some people in that can back up what I'm saying. So, yeah, I think we can get this resolved or come to at least get a couple steps in the right direction so both parties will be happy. So I just want to make everybody aware of that there's some stuff that needs to be presented that I don't think both parties are aware of. So, like I said, I'm more than happy to make a presentation at this public hearing for it, so.
I've operated in my steps with attorney advice and just disclosed where we're at in this moving conversation, and he's full well and prepared to come on August 4th.
All right. Motion to approve the resolution?
Yep, we got a motion by Simonson, seconded by Alinger. Any discussion? Then take the roll.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
No.
Holden,
Yes.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Okay, one passes. Item D is a resolution approving change order number 1, increase in the amount of $57,747 for the Glovic Community Park Project. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. This number's a bit deceiving because I feel like there's a running side parallel line that probably Jen and John, I think I wrote in here how, I mean, you guys found a way to not do the street cut and backfill, and there's been a number of things that they've been extremely helpful with. So first off, thank you. Regarding some of the material changes out at the Glovic Community Park site, the big ticket items in this change order are a kiosk digital sign, which the Betterment Corporation staff members have talked about, and also worked with the chief donating party, Barb Rechterman, to kind of gain some approval on what this will look like on the southwest corner. And the other big ticket is the steel roof underdecking. The original plans called for staining underneath the stage ceiling every couple or a few years. This finished wood metal will last you a very, very long time and relieve staff or contractors from having to come in and redo that. So given where the budget is and that the subsurface conditions have been passed, I mean, that was the big fear in a change order, is we get into the ground and have exposed metal and pockets of foot of airspace in between limestone rocks. That's not the case anymore. So we feel pretty confident with where we're at in our budget right now that this is a good change order to pass at this juncture in the project, and it's being recommended for action tonight.
Okay,
It's always exciting to see the
Yeah.
Glovic. This just means that everything's moving forward. It's nice to see.
So moved.
we got a motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. Any more discussion? Take the roll.
Rickroll,
Yes.
Lyden,
Yes.
Holden,
Yes.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson,
Yes.
Okay, that one passes. Item E is a resolution approving a Sourcewell bid from Bonnell Industries in the amount of $181,303.50 for a snow blower for Public Works, I believe. Okay.
Well, Mayor, I'll turn over to John here in a second. We had a lot of good discussion at Public Works Committee, and this was ultimately recommended, but it might surprise you that a snow blower can cost $181,000. So, John, please tell us why this is needed for the city.
It's a tough one. It is our next level of service that we need to provide, I believe, with the city. We got along really good with our snow loader, but this is just only one piece of equipment. It only handles snow, but it's very versatile on what we can do with it. Going into banks out at the hospital where it drifts really bad, it can blow it 50 to 75 feet out into the field, and then we don't have to deal with the snow anymore. Our trails, snow piles, downtown, if I can keep the trucks to it, it'll be minutes, compared to what we used to do. Very versatile piece of equipment. I mean, it can go out to the airport. It's a separate unit, fits on the front of our end loader. We can take it anywhere in town, wherever we need to.
So it will be powerful enough to break up those big humps in the middle of Main Street? Like say, you just put it towards the middle of Main Street, and then it'd just be one swipe and it would just be gone?
Yep, well,
Okay.
Main Street won't change. We'll push it to the middle and then just go along and drive back right beside it, and it blows it right into the trucks.
Yep.
The spout comes
Yeah,
up and just,
Just questioning like the auger strength, in case we had a big ice boulder, would it chew it up and spit it out,
and I did talk to where this company's at, Bonnell Industries is in Dixon, Illinois. I talked to their public works director. They have the same unit, and they love it. That town's about 10 to 12,000 people, a little bigger, and they just have this one unit, and they use it all over the town, all over the city.
I mean, I don't mind you guys piling it in the middle of Main Street. I just think it'd be great if you could just run right through, pile it out, and be done,
Yeah.
So if this equipment does it, why
So
not?
does this purchase include the loader too?
No, Nope, this
Just
is
the
this-
unit on the front?
Yep, this is a separate unit.
Okay.
It's remote control. You run it from the cab inside the loader. Everybody's staying in comfort in the heated cab and along with the truck, so.
Just because I have to say this, and I was told to say it, you can buy an awful lot of Toro snow blowers for $181,000.
John,
I would assume that this is tall enough to where it's shooting down into a dump truck, right?
Yes.
Or there's a shroud on this, so second-story windows downtown don't become ping pong.
Yes, I had them bid the extended chute, just so it turns and goes right into our trucks.
Perfect.
John, your eyes were out a couple years ago. We got a really bad drift. You were out on Timber Drive at the Hillcrest there because they were completely snowed in. How much time did you spend out there as a crew
Yeah.
fixing that?
This unit will be just one person taking it around and doing it. Before, trucks, loaders, we hauled it away, or we tried pushing it back in the farm fields, and once you push it back, it just creates more drifts, you know. This here will shoot it so far, it chews it all up fine and blows it out in the field, just powder. So it's a multi-use tool just for snow. But if it snows, it's great. If it don't, then we spent $180,000 on it, but
At least we're
it'll
prepared.
be good.
At least
It'll be
we're
good for
prepared.
years.
Trade it in for Toro.
Yeah, it'll be really good, I mean, for a lot of years. There shouldn't be any issues with it. They
right, very good.
recommend it.
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion by Lyon, seconded by Alinger.
Bennett.
Bennett, you two sound so much alike. Anyway, by Alinger, if we have no discussion, then take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colton,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Okay, that one passes. We move on to item F, which is a resolution approving change order number 1 to Dave River Construction in the amount of $2,900 for Fifth Ward and Little Bear Park. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. John authorized a very small change on this project. You might notice some Y bracing in each post that makes it look a lot more flush than what the plans were originally drawn up. And very, very light change, and this is for 2 of them combined to $2,900. And so the bill we received was a little bit more than that in council authorization. So we were seeking to approve this change and motion for payment on the back end of this agenda.
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion by Alinger.
Bennett.
Second by Alinger.
By Alinger. Go ahead and take the roll.
Colton,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
All right, that one passes. Item G is a resolution approving change order number 7 and a decrease in the amount of $8,677 for the Sunshine Learning Center project. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. This may look familiar to you, and basically missed a release of retainage funds on that last change order. It was instead of a $8,677 increase, it was actually a decrease that was being asked for. So I sold you on the fact that some things are increasing, and it was opposite direction. So my apologies.
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion by Lyon, seconded by Rickrell. And if there's no discussion, take the roll.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Colton.
Yes.
Okay, that one passes. Item H is a resolution approving change order number 18 in the amount of $192,084.54 payable to Chig-Fry Excavating on the Platt Street project. Go ahead. If this is rearing its ugly head again, is this something totally new or is it part of the old one?
No, wait, I'll explain.
Okay.
And first of all, thank Andy Godkin from Origin for being on this long. His son was at a T-ball game and he's been on the phone, so an engineer's commitment's at display here. And he's available for any complex questioning if you have it. So long story short, through this Platt Street project, probably even over the last 18 to 24 months, Origin's been seeking some material justification and some things from Chig-Fry. And for some point of strategy that remains unknown, it was not given to Origin and never came to you for a change. I can't ask me why, or I don't think anyone could tell you, but that's what's here in front of us now. This documentation's been provided to the engineer. It's been reviewed by the engineer, it's been reviewed by IDOT. I've consulted with the city's legal on what to do with something like this, given the case circumstances that are before the city. And it's passed through a couple reviews. It's in front of you now for concurrence and approval. And my advice from attorneys is that if it's passed those tests, approve it so that we can issue payment promptly and not end up in any other complications. So I anticipate at some point there will be perhaps one final change order for materials, and that should be it. And you know, that's Andy, am I correct in that? There's possibly one more?
It's a home run.
It's a home run, yes.
Excuse me, can you hear me, Josh?
Yeah,
Good, yeah, yes, you are correct. This is the last substantial change order on this project. And really, it could be the last change order, you know, pending any Iowa DOT review during correct. The materials audit, which is now taking place, or the construction documentation audit. Anything, you know, that's found in that where it was attributed to the wrong division of work, for example, might be on a future change order. That's just one example, but generally speaking, this is the last substantial change order that the city will see on this project.
Okay,
So moved.
got a motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. Any discussion? And take the roll.
Bet,
Yes.
Stibitz,
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Colvin,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Okay, that one passes. Item I is a resolution approving the downtown incentives facade grant in the amount of $1,380.30 to Tracy Seedy at 107 North Main Street. Go ahead.
thank you, Mayor. Very simple. Downtown Incentives Committee met regarding a facade grant, and I'm either hungry or super excited, but I'm really happy to get this one back. So
Do we have
I
an
hope you
opening
are
date?
too. What's that?
Do we have an opening date?
No, don't. I don't have an opening date. Tracy and I have chatted for months about this, and we're finally at a point of an application. The sign's down, so I think he's moving and interested in this. A lot of people ask, in his words, it's not going to be the same type of bakery. It's going to be cake, donuts, things that don't keep him up at 2 a.m. in the morning proving dough and these things. So either way, you're adding a business back downtown, and there's a couple of others in the pipeline. Excited for this one personally, and just happy to move this along for you for hopeful approval. It's a small facade grant.
Okay,
So moved.
we've got a motion by Bennett,
Second.
seconded by Coleman. And if we have no discussion, take the roll.
Stibitz,
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colvin,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, that one passes. Item J is a discussion and possible motion approving payment to Dave River Construction in the amount of $36,289 for the completion of the Fifth Ward Pavilion. Go ahead.
I have nothing further to add on this one.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion-
Second.
Motion by Alinger, seconded by Bennett. And if we have no discussion, take the roll.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colvin,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Stibitz.
Yes.
Okay, that one passes. And item K is a discussion and possible motion approving a payment to CertaPro Painters in the amount of $34,255.57 for completion of the Public Works painting and recoating project. So, anything to add?
Just that staff did a pay app check, and then there were a couple things that we thought that weren't complete, and it was because we have steel on one of those buildings that we need to put up. So we worked with the contractor to come into a small settlement, and the pay request that's in front of you is the final payment to the contractor, assuming approval on this. But so far, I think that it's been pretty well received down there. I think John's got a couple other goals, and we'll keep moving along to help facelift some of North Main.
So
Looks
moved.
good.
Okay, we got a motion by Bennett,
Second.
seconded by Lyon. And if we have no discussion, take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colvin,
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Stibitz.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Okay, that one passes. We make it to item 11, which is reports and communications. Do we have anything from any of the council members? City manager?
I don't just want to thank everyone for their patience, and it's not something wholly in our control, but John and the police department and were responsive to replacing manhole covers on Saturday morning as a result of some storm flow. I didn't know water could lift 70 pieces of cast iron, but apparently that's possible. So, like I said, I don't have a strong answer, but I mean, we're trying to deal with this storm flow, and the ground is saturated as can be. It doesn't have a chance to fall into the ground. I know John, Saturday morning, checked our storm grates to check if anything was plugging it. We don't have an obvious cause on this. So our best guess at this point is the ground is that wet and not taking any water. So it's something to keep your eye on, I think, as we move into the future and continue to get bigger and bigger rains like this, and be mindful of your stormwater improvements along the way.
Okay, okay, I'll accept the motion to adjourn. Move? Moved, oh, okay. You got to speak up. We have a motion by Bennett.
Nobody else wants to adjourn, apparently.
Second.
I was hoping for some overtime.
Ryan seconded it. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned.
Yeah.